What is going on, everybody? This is your boy JPTHEGLOVE74 with another video. Today I'm going to react to Wrestlemania's 10 storylines fans beg WWE to end instantly. We're gonna check out this video right here. This should be a really good video about Wrestlelamia. If this is your first time, this is JPTHEGLOVE74. Please make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content. Without further ado, let's get into this video.
One of the keys to executing a great storyline in WWE is the payoff.
Yes,
a compelling storyline should have a strong end that leaves the fans satisfied.
Amen.
Unfortunately, WWE has a habit of not knowing when to call it a day. And a storyline can start off strongly, but the storyline can go on and on with no end in sight. So with that being said, let's look at 10 WWE storylines that overstayed their welcome. Number 10, Alberto Del Rio tries to fulfill his destiny.
I remember that, yep.
When Alberto Del Rio arrived in WWE in 2010, he was instantly catapulted into the main event scene. WWE believed Del Rio could be a major star, and to WWE's credit, Del Rio was able to get somewhat over with the audience. The problem began when Del Rio's gimmick of trying to fulfill his destiny and become world champion was put on hold time and time again. Del Rio won the 2011 Royal Rumble, and it looked like he was going to overcome world champion Edge at WrestleMania 27, but this didn't happen. Del Rio then lost other world title opportunities until he eventually cashed in on CM Punk at the 2011 SummerSlam event. Del Rio's multiple reigns in late 2011 were all disappointing, but WWE were persistent on making Del Rio a huge deal. So the storyline of Del Rio on the hunt for world title gold continued into 2012. 2012 saw Del Rio feud with Sheamus, and to say that this storyline and feud overstayed its welcome would be an understatement.
This feud was kind of
the pay-per-view matches felt like mid-card matches and did little to present the world title in the best light. Ultimately, Del Rio's storyline was a waste of time, and WWE could have put more effort into other storylines within the company. Number 9, the guest host era of Raw. Whilst not a storyline as such, the guest host era of Raw was a period which fans don't look back on fondly.
The guest host era was so
horrible. It was Raw each week, and the logic from WWE's perspective was that this would bring in new fans, but this simply didn't happen. A strong majority of the guest hosts chosen for Raw weren't fans of WWE, so they had zero idea what was happening, and it was made clear that they were only here for a cheap payday. There were a few exceptions to this, however, as iconic names such as Bob Barker and Hugh Jackman genuinely added something positive to the show.
They did.
Unfortunately, the concept lasted way too long, and it highlighted that WWE were failing to understand what their audience wanted to see on Raw each and every week. Number 8, Michael Cole's heel run.
This right here, I hate that too.
Michael Cole's heel run. In 2010, Cole turned heel, and in a weird move, Cole started to call Raw each and every week as a full-blown villain. It was a change of pace, as traditionally the play-by-play guy on WWE TV would call the action right down the middle. Cole was obnoxious, distracting, and it was hard to enjoy Raw each week with Cole at the helm. According to Cole himself, during an appearance on After the Bell, it was Vince McMahon's direct call to make him go on an extended run as a heel. Vince McMahon decided Michael Cole in real life is a sarcastic prick anyway. Why not capitalize on this backlash and make him a bad guy? Vince McMahon used to hold a class at TV about 10 years ago called Promo Class. One day he threw me up there with R-Truth. Truth and I stole the show. At that point in time, Vince was like, this guy's a prick, he's a heel. It led to about a 2-year run where there was no in-between. People either really loved the character or thought it was this travesty against everything that was ever done. A play-by-play guy cannot be a bad guy. He has to be this voice of reason. It's the worst decision that WWE has ever made.
I agree.
Also during this time, Cole embarked in a feud with fellow commentator Jerry the King Lawler. This also lasted way too long, and the two were even awarded with a lengthy WrestleMania match. The storyline of Cole as a heel was an interesting experiment that ultimately failed in a huge way, and hopefully WWE never does anything similar again. Number 7, the anonymous Raw General Manager. Speaking of Michael Cole, Cole was a key part in yet another storyline that went on for far too long. In the summer of 2010, Raw's new authority figure would be presented as a mystery figure who controlled the show by sending emails to a laptop.
This was really stupid. This was a really stupid concept.
Of the crowd. Fans at first had high hopes in terms of who would be the Mystery Authority figure, with names being thrown around including Triple H and Eric Bischoff. It was later revealed that WWE had no concrete plans in place, as 2 years later, the anonymous Raw GM was revealed to be Hornswoggle in one of the laziest reveals in company history.
Yep.
Number 6, Sasha Banks tries to vanquish Charlotte Flair. Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair engaged in an all-out war over the Raw Women's title in 2016. The matches between the two decorated female stars were excellent, but the storyline became frustrating as the weeks went on. WWE told the storyline in a complex manner, and it saw Banks overcome Flair on WWE TV. Then Flair would win the title back at the next pay-per-view. This lasted for 4 months, and WWE fans were baffled as to what the purpose of the story was supposed to be. The storyline made Banks look completely incompetent as a babyface, and the hot potato between the two with the title didn't exactly add a ton of value.
They were playing hot potato with that belt. They didn't know what to do.
Number 5, Roman Reigns tries to silence Baron Corbin.
Oh, God.
In late 2019, Roman Reigns entered into a feud with Baron Corbin. This feud would receive widespread criticism from fans, and it even led to Reigns having enough of WWE creative. The feud between the two lasted for months on end, and the feud was completely lifeless. Elements of the feud were so insultingly bad, and it was clear that certain segments were designed to make Vince McMahon laugh. Paul Heyman would discuss how much the infamous feud weighed on Reigns during an appearance on Rick Rubin's Tetragrammaton podcast, and this is what he had to say. The feud rivalry with Baron Corbin over dog food and the infamous Suffer and Succotash promo had weighed on him enough to where he said, "I've had enough, I've reached the cap, I can't go any further. As the big dog, I've peaked, and as an athlete, I haven't peaked as a performer. I've barely scratched the surface, I have so much more to offer, and since I'm taking time off, I'm not coming back as the same person."
And that's good.
Number
I'm really
4,
glad
Lita's romance.
I'm really glad Wayne's
Kane
really
has
stood up.
notoriously been involved in several outlandish and insane storylines throughout his career, but perhaps the most notable was the time he began a storyline with Lita.
I remember this.
This storyline would last for a considerable amount of time, and it would have twist after twist, and with each twist, the storyline seemed to get even weirder. The storyline took shape following WrestleMania 20, as Kane would fall in love with Lita, and when Lita shockingly announced that she was pregnant, it was revealed that Kane was the father. Kane would then enter into a feud with Lita's real-life boyfriend Matt Hardy, and in a truly unique stipulation, Kane and Hardy faced off in a Till Death Do Us Part match at SummerSlam, with Lita marrying the victor. Kane would win the match, but then in a truly baffling twist, WWE decided to experiment with Kane as a babyface. That's right, the man who impregnated and kidnapped Lita was going to turn into a good guy. During a match with Gene Snitsky, Kane accidentally fell on Lita, and this resulted in Lita losing her baby.
I remember this.
Snitsky would then become a crazed heel, whilst Kane set out to avenge his deceased baby. When Lita eventually returned to WWE TV, it was portrayed as if she was now on good terms with Kane. That was until Lita turned on him in favor of Edge, making Lita the new villain of this story arc. Number 3, Shane McMahon's Reign of Tyranny. In 2018, WWE began to plant the seeds for Shane McMahon to become a central part of the WWE program.
This is so awful.
McMahon would win the World Cup at the 2018 Crown Jewel event, which was already a controversial move, as McMahon made easy work of former world champion Dolph Ziggler. McMahon would be christened as the best in the world, and this would be his gimmick moving forward. McMahon would join forces with The Miz, and the two had an enjoyable run at first, before it went completely off the rails when McMahon turned heel. Fans expected this to build towards McMahon putting over a babyface Miz at WrestleMania 35, but in shocking fashion, McMahon won the match. In fact, McMahon won every subsequent match against The Miz, which completely annihilated Miz's babyface run. Following the lackluster feud with Miz coming to an end, McMahon would enter into a feud with Roman Reigns, and this dominated SmackDown. McMahon would cut long-winded promos and have a ton of TV time dedicated to him. McMahon would even defeat Reigns on pay-per-view, which was a truly baffling decision, as Reigns was one of the most protected talents in the entire company. The McMahon experiment was a complete waste of time, as it failed to get anyone over, and ultimately led to fans reaching for the remote. Number 2, Twice in a Lifetime. Following WrestleMania 27, WWE took a huge creative risk. WWE announced The Rock versus John Cena for WrestleMania 28 with 1 year of notice. This was done to lock down The Rock for a match and create as much hype as possible. WWE did a decent job in building the matchup, and the WrestleMania 28 buy rate of 1.3 million buys was evidence that WWE had done the right thing. Unfortunately, in 2013, WWE made the decision to book The Rock versus Cena once again for WrestleMania 29. WWE had promoted their first encounter as a once-in-a-lifetime matchup, so this was a huge spit in the face to everyone who had invested their time and money in the feud. The built-in storyline to the WrestleMania 29 encounter was focused on the WWE title, but WWE were treading the same ground and repeating the same story.
It should have been CM Punk and John Cena. Or CM Punk and John Cena walk. CM Punk should have been in that match.
And this likely explains why WrestleMania 29 saw a decrease of almost 300,000 pay-per-view buys. Number 1, Triple H's Reign of Terror.
I agree.
Due to names such as The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin taking a step back from in-ring action, WWE were forced to put Triple H as the face of Monday Night Raw back in 2002. Whilst the game was incredible in the ring, his so-called Reign of Terror between 2002 and 2005 wasn't exactly the most celebrated part of his career.
It was.
For years, the game dominated Raw, and he seemed to defeat every babyface who came into his path. Rob Van Dam, Kane, Randy Orton, and Booker T all could have defeated the game and vanquished the top heel on Raw, but WWE persisted with having a heel dominate Raw. A lot of fans switched off the product during this time period as Triple H became completely insufferable. From WWE's perspective, there is perhaps an argument to be made that Triple H was the biggest star on the show, so it made business sense to revolve the top story arc around him. But that argument won't be popular amongst fans of that respective era.
I agree.
The 3-year-long story arc would thankfully come to a close at WrestleMania 21. The game would put Batista over in the main event of WrestleMania, and this started a path of Triple H going in a slightly different direction in WWE.
That's true. Yeah, I agree. Now, with all due respect, even though Triple H is my favorite, it's my favorite wrestler of all time. I still got his T-shirt. Even though he's my favorite wrestler of all time. You know, I grew up watching Triple H. I love Triple H. I love watching his matches, his promos. When I was a little kid, I was a huge Triple H fan. He was my favorite wrestler of all time, and he still is. But once I grew older and I started to see the Reign of Terror, and I started to see some of his names he won against. I'm just thinking like, he kind of some of these wins Triple H did not need. He really did not need those wins. Like I know at the time that I was young, I was a kid, I was a huge Triple H fan. I was always rooting for Triple H. So I really did not know it. I was a little kid. Once I grew older, I was like, okay, yeah, I can see why a lot of people do not like the Reign of Terror from Triple H. So, but as for the West, so pretty much all this is horrible. All this is so horrible. You know, Shane Man, the best in the world. I was like, yeah, the Shane Man being Roman Reigns, Shane McMahon being the Miz on multiple occasions. I'm just like, what are y'all doing, WWE fans? What are you doing? And also Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns feud. That was awful. Feuding for dog food. And excuse me, I'm really glad Wayne stood up for himself, and he just had enough. He just had enough of this feud. Like it was, I feel like what he said in that feud, his feud with Baron Corbin with the dog food, it just really like pushed Wayne over the edge, and he just like, listen, look, man, like I'm taking time off, and when I'm coming back as a new person, and sure enough, we got the tribal chief, and the rest is history. So. Yep. Most of these storylines were so horrible, so horrible. Whew. And what do y'all think? What's y'all's worst storyline in WWE history? Leave your comments down below. Until the next time, this is your boy JPTHEGLOVE74. If you like this video, please make sure you hit that like button, and also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content. I hope you guys have a really great day. We'll see y'all in the next video. God bless y'all, and peace.